2 weeks ago, an AI safety researcher caught xAI's coding agent secretly packaging and uploading entire developer repos to a Google Cloud storage bucket. The researcher Cereblab created a large test repo and pointed the Grok Build CLI at it. He set up a proxy to monitor every request of data leaving his machine, and what he found was that Grok Build didn't just send up the specific code file he asked about. In the background, it packaged up the entire repository, every tracked file, including the full Git history, the unredacted env file with keys and database passwords, and it enqueued the lot to an xAI storage bucket. And none of this was tied to what the agent had actually been asked about in the session. They told it in plain text, reply OK, do not read any files, and it packaged them up anyway. And when they cloned back what left the machine, specific planted canary files, the ones the agent were explicitly told never to touch, came back word for word. He even flipped the privacy setting in the app as well, wire tested the whole thing, and still found all of the files to be transmitted. What changed was a flag on the xAI side. And the key word here is transmission, code leaving the machine packaged and enqueued to a Google Cloud storage bucket. And obviously this caused quite a stir online, both on X as well as across various tech media outlets like Hacker News and the Tech Times. All of this happened on July 9th, and within days this packaging of entire repos was switched off by xAI server side and the upload stopped. Elon Musk then posted that the collected data had been, in his words, completely and utterly deleted, zero, anything whatsoever will remain. And then 2 days later, they open sourced the entire codebase of Grok Build up on GitHub for anyone to download. It means anyone can now look inside and see what's actually going on. It does seem that there still are traces of uploading still left in the codebase, but they have been disabled server side. And in this post by SpaceXAI, they confirmed that data retention was enabled by default for non-zero data retention users, and the default retention for all Grok Build users has since been disabled from July 12th. This video isn't a hit piece on xAI or Grok. This incident just sheds a light on the much bigger question of data retention by AI providers. Because almost every AI coding tool like Grok Build, Claude Code, Codex, Cursor, all of them are shipping code off somewhere. And there are three separate things about this trip that you can't confidently state. The first is, where does the code actually go? So you point the tool at a folder and obviously something leaves, but to whose servers, in what country, held by whom? Secondly, once the answer comes back, is there a copy kept on the servers? Because the request going out and a copy staying behind are two completely different events, and nothing on your screen tells you whether the second one actually happened. And the more disconcerting one is, do the various mechanisms actually work? The privacy opt-ins, the training opt-outs, the ZDR modes. Because as we saw in this instance, switching the privacy mode had no impact on the transmission of data. And that is the leap of faith that you make when choosing a provider. Before I continue, if you like seeing these types of deep dives in your feed, then make sure to subscribe to our channel below. It really helps us out. There are various layers to data being retained in cloud servers across this round trip with your coding agent. There's training use, so do they use your private data to learn from it and train future models? There's stored app state, so can they resume a session tomorrow, either remotely or locally? There's abuse and reliability logs that they'll keep to keep their service safe. There are caches, because holding your prompt in memory for a few minutes doesn't actually count as retaining it, only writing to disk counts as retention. And the last one is logging. That could be the gateway or an observability tool, the likes of LangFuse or LangSmith. A lot of these store the full prompt and response by default. So it's important to map out step by step how the data is flowing through and where the various surfaces are where retention could be a problem. And just because you have a signed agreement doesn't mean that you're in the clear here. Almost all providers offer a data processing agreement or data processing addendum, and that's the paperwork, the contract that says what a provider is allowed to hold and do with your data. On the other side, you've got zero data retention or ZDR. That's the setting that ensures nothing is actually persisted. And they go hand in hand, so every provider's DPA still contemplates keeping your data unless the separate zero retention config is switched on. xAI's own DPA documents that prompt and response pairs get stored for about 30 days. And even with ZDR, in-memory caching still isn't covered by that, as well as the metadata around requests. If you look at Claude Code's zero data retention policy, even with ZDR enabled, Anthropic may retain the associated inputs and outputs for up to 2 years. So this is quite a nuanced, messy topic. And when it comes to zero data retention, if you look at the various providers, you can group them into 2 buckets. For most of the big providers like Claude, OpenAI, Azure, it's all sales gated. So this is total privacy as an enterprise feature, and you need to engage with their accounts team essentially. Whereas with others like XAI or Together AI, Fireworks, Open Router, here you can enable zero data retention by clicking the button, or it's on by default. And this cuts both ways because you cannot independently audit any of this from the outside. There's no test you can run that proves a provider kept nothing. The audits that do exist, the SOC 2 reports for example, they attest that the company runs the processes it says it runs. But nobody is watching every request and proving your prompt was never written down. So whoever you pick, you're choosing to trust what they say and do, and that reframes the sales gate a little bit, because when a provider makes you go through an approval process for zero retention, part of what's happening is they're working out what they can honestly promise you, which endpoints, which models, which features they'll put the word zero against in writing. And once granted, it comes with features switched off because anything that has to store your data to work can't sit under that promise. Whereas a smaller, faster moving company can put a friendly toggle in front of you for zero data retention. However, in a lot of cases, it's a promise that nobody has audited. So you can think of all of this as a trust ladder, and with every rung you climb, you're trusting someone less and less. And the point to note here is that it isn't necessarily about finding the best provider and then running everything through them. Instead, it's worth routing every piece of work by how sensitive it is. So the more secret or sensitive the job is, the higher up this ladder you go. And most of us are at the very bottom right now, which is trusting the provider completely. These are the default tools, the default terms as they come. And for low stakes work, honestly, the floor here is fine. And it's probably better than most people assume. So the big providers' standard API tiers, they typically delete what you send within about 30 days, and they don't usually train on it. Worth double checking, but that's usually the case. One improvement you can make with the defaults is to keep unredacted env files completely away from coding agents by using the likes of a secrets manager. The first rung then is manage zero retention. This is someone else's cloud with retention switched off in writing. And as discussed, here we have the self-serve options, the likes of XAI, Fireworks, Together, Open Router. These are providers where you flip the zero retention switch yourself and you don't need to make a sales call. Within Grok, for example, and this is not XAI's Grok, this is the other Grok, in their data controls, you can enable global zero data retention. Within Together AI, zero data retention is essentially on by default. Whereas for the gated ones like OpenAI, Azure, or Anthropic, you need to contact sales or the Anthropic accounts team in this case. Either way, the trust boundary here is the provider's promises plus your ability to check it. For Grok, for example, they have an entire trust center with compliance badges and controls and resources. And this rung is perfect for general coding on, let's say, proprietary code bases where you don't want data kept lying around on servers. And you pay for zero data retention in both features and more recently in model selection. With all the controversy over Mythos and Fable 5's export controls, it's not possible to even access these models under zero data retention. And on the feature side, ZDR is a promise that all requests will be stateless. One call goes in, one answer comes out, and nothing remains behind, which means any stateful features sit outside of that promise. If you look at XAI's list, for example, there's a long list of features that are supported by their API that don't work with ZDR. Mistral has a similar list of what's not included when you enable this. Things like agents, batch processing, file uploads, stored conversations, all excluded when zero retention is enabled. OpenAI is the same with this eligibility table, and all of these endpoints not being available with ZDR. And where a vendor can't scope a feature out for ZDR, they'll usually switch it off for that account. And that can be a little bit of a trap because if you accidentally hit that endpoint or if you enable that feature, If it does work, then it could silently switch storage back on for those endpoints, and that's where things get messy. This is where you really need to get into the nitty-gritty of all of the features offered by a service. For example, the grounding with Google's search service that Gemini has. This stores information for up to 3 days within that separate system in their overall ecosystem. So the honest rule for this first rung is to know which features you're willing to give up. Make sure you set storage to false. Leave pass-through off, because sometimes prompts can pass through from the main provider to sub-processors, and then you will need to audit the features that you actually have switched on. The second rung then is not to use a managed service, but instead to use managed infrastructure. So this is renting a GPU in a cloud that you can control yourself. This is the likes of RunPod or Lambda or a managed option like Modal, or the same move inside maybe the cloud account your company already runs, spinning an open model up in your own private corner of AWS or Azure. And the trust boundary moves here because it becomes a clause in the terms of service that the host is contractually banned from looking at your data, plus the fact that you control the delete. Two things to know about this though. Here I have RunPod's documentation. A rented GPU is usually shared hardware by default, so your box is sitting next to strangers, let's say. So if you want the metal to yourself, you need to pick a single tenant option. And the second is that by terminating the pod, you are wiping the scratch disk, and that's the delete that you control, unless you attach a persistent volume, which you would also need to remove. And Modal is a nice easy on-ramp here because their inference endpoints have zero data retention by default. And the top rung then is local AI. So Ollama, LM Studio, VLLM, Llama CPP. Here you're running your own models on your own hardware, hidden behind firewalls, not accessible at all to any third-party provider. So here you should have full transparency and full control because data retention is no longer a problem. The data is not leaving your network. And as I said, you can pick or choose these based on the use case. So the likes of the crown jewels, the most sensitive data, you should just be running that fully locally. It's totally de-risked doing that. Whereas if you need bigger models, you don't want the headache of managing hardware, then renting GPUs in the cloud is a good approach to take. For general day-to-day coding on proprietary databases, you could go to the first rung, which is ZDR enabled on the particular provider. And for low stakes work where you aren't really too worried, then you can just rely on the defaults like most people do. Building AI solutions is a big part of what we teach inside our AI Architects course. And this is available inside our community, the AI Automators, where there are hundreds of serious builders all creating production-grade systems. If that sounds like something you're interested in, then definitely check out the link below. Trust is central to everything we've talked about to date. Because can you really prove deletion when dealing with third-party providers? And this is the crux of the matter. Zero data retention is a contract. It's not a technical mechanism. There's no cryptographic proof your data wasn't kept. It's a commitment written down that you cannot independently audit, which is exactly why checking the wire, like Cereblab did in this XAI investigation, is just so important. Because the wire is essentially the part that you can see. You can see the requests made and leaving your network. And in most cases, zero isn't even zero because the safety layer still runs underneath. As I mentioned, with Anthropic's safety classifier, they can keep data for up to 2 years, even with zero data retention enabled, which means you can never really fully prove deletion. It's the same as XAI's tweet from last week. There is no audit trail. We just need to trust that it has actually happened. And that's why local is the best solution for those needing full control and transparency. If you're interested in getting the most from local AI models on your own hardware, then check out my latest video here on DeepSeek's DSpark. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more videos like this. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.